Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Battleverse. Today, we're stepping into the deep waters of modern naval rivalry, the ultimate face-off between the United States and China in the arena of aircraft carriers. This is more than just a hardware comparison, it's a look into two very different naval philosophies, decades of technological development, and the future of maritime dominance. We'll explore the carriers from the outside and, starting with their exterior design, peeking inside for a quick look at interior layout, then diving into their performance, safety features, unique selling points, cost, and finally, the big-picture conclusion on which side currently holds the upper hand. From the exterior, U.S. carriers like the Nimitz class and the cutting-edge Gerald R Ford class are instantly recognizable as the largest warships ever built. The Ford class measures 1,092 feet in length, roughly the size of 3 football fields, and displaces around 100,000 tons fully loaded. Their towering island superstructure is compact and positioned slightly aft to free up deck space, while radar panels and communication arrays bristle from every angle. They're built with a flat flight deck, capable of simultaneous catapult launches and aircraft recoveries. U.S. carriers are powered by twin nuclear reactors, meaning they never need refueling over their 50-year service life, a game-changing capability for global operations. China's carrier fleet has grown rapidly, starting with the Liaoning, a refurbished Soviet Kuznetsov-class carrier acquired from Ukraine, then the Shandong, an improved, domestically built version, and now the Fujian, their most advanced carrier to date. The Liaoning and Shandong are slightly smaller, around 999 feet long with displacements between 67,000 to 70,000 tons. They sport the distinctive ski jump bow, which angles upward to assist aircraft in taking off without catapults. The Fujian, however, breaks from that tradition with a flat deck and electromagnetic catapult systems, signaling China's move toward modern launch technology similar to the U.S. Ford class. The exterior differences are not just about looks, they reflect two different stages in carrier evolution, with the U.S. already decades into full-deck, high-tempo operations and China only recently adopting the same tools. Inside, U.S. carriers are floating metropolises. They house between 4,500 to 5,200 personnel, including sailors, pilots, mechanics, medical teams, and command staff. Crew quarters are functional but compact, with multiple mess halls, gyms, and recreational spaces to sustain morale on months-long deployments. The ship's operations center, the nerve hub, is packed with advanced displays and secure communication channels linking the carrier to strike groups, satellites, and joint command centers worldwide. China's carriers are smaller in crew complement, typically 2,500 to 3,000 people, which means more breathing room per sailor, especially on newer designs. While Liaoning and Shandong feature more traditional layouts, the Fujian incorporates improved automation, reducing the crew's workload and improving efficiency. Still, U.S. carriers' decades of refinement and interior workflow give them a distinct advantage in combat readiness. Performance is where the U.S. dominance truly shows. U.S. nuclear-powered carriers can maintain sustained speeds over 30 knots without ever needing to refuel, allowing them to reposition anywhere on the globe in short order. Their aircraft launch capabilities are unmatched. The Ford-class EMALS, electromagnetic aircraft launch system, can launch more aircraft per hour than steam catapults, generating up to 160 sorties a day in intense combat scenarios. Even older Nimitz-class ships can reach around 120 to 140 sorties daily. Chinese carriers prior to Fujian have been limited by ski jump ramps, which restrict aircraft takeoff weight. This means fighters like the J-15 often have to launch with reduced fuel and weapon payloads, limiting their combat range and effectiveness. The Fujian's catapult launch system is a giant leap forward, potentially allowing fully loaded aircraft to launch and increasing sortie rates to 120 or more per day. However, without nuclear propulsion, Chinese carriers need refueling every few thousand nautical miles, tethering them to supply ships and reducing operational range. When it comes to safety features, U.S. carriers are built with layered survivability in mind. Their hulls are segmented into watertight compartments to localize damage, and onboard fire suppression systems are advanced enough to control multiple simultaneous fires. Every crew member is trained rigorously in damage control, a lesson earned from decades of war and accidents at sea. Protection from enemy attack is multi-tiered. Ship-mounted defenses like the Phalanx CIWS and CRAM intercept incoming threats, while the carrier is surrounded by a protective screen of destroyers, cruisers, and submarines. Chinese carriers also have solid safety measures, modern firefighting systems, compartmentalized hulls, and point defense weapons, but they lack the long combat history that has shaped U.S. Navy doctrine. In war, that experience could make the difference between losing a carrier and saving it. Now for the unique selling points. The U.S. Navy's carriers are unmatched in global reach. They can sail anywhere, stay as long as needed, and launch a diverse air wing, including F/A-18 Super Hornets, EA-18G Growlers for electronic warfare, E-2D Hawkeye early warning aircraft, and soon, F-35C stealth fighters. Their entire design philosophy is about projecting power anywhere in the world. China's carriers, on the other hand, are optimized for regional dominance, particularly in the South China Sea and the Western Pacific. Their advantage lies in operating close to home, within range of China's formidable anti-ship ballistic missile arsenal like the DF-21D and DF-26, which can threaten enemy carriers before they enter strike range. This means that in certain regional scenarios, even with less capable carriers, China's layered missile defense could tilt the odds in their favor. The price difference is staggering. The Gerald R Ford class costs around $13 billion per ship, not including its air wing and escort vessels. The Nimitz class was cheaper, but still around $9 billion in late 20th century dollars. China's carriers are more cost-effective. Liaoning's total refit cost about $2 billion, while Shandong is estimated around $5 to $6 billion, and Fujian perhaps $8 billion. While the U.S. invests in the most advanced tech possible, China's lower costs mean it can potentially build more carriers in a shorter time frame, though it may take years before they match U.S. operational capability. In conclusion, in a one-on-one battle today, the United States still holds a clear edge in endurance, sortie generation, and combat-tested safety systems. Their carriers are designed to fight anywhere on Earth and win, backed by a century of carrier warfare experience. China's carriers are advancing rapidly, with the Fujian marking a technological breakthrough, but their operational philosophy remains more regional for now. However, and this is crucial, carriers don't fight alone. The deciding factor in any clash would also depend on submarines, escorts, aircraft quality, satellite targeting, and missile capabilities. In open ocean warfare far from China's coastline, U.S. carriers would likely dominate. But in a conflict close to Chinese shores, with land-based missile support, the balance could shift dramatically. The bottom line? The carrier race between the U.S. and China is no longer a slow competition, it's accelerating, and the gap is closing. The next decade could see the world's oceans become the stage for the most significant naval rivalry since World War II.